How are we doing there, boys and girls? Manthieus here. Welcome back to another video. So we're going to take a little bit of a look at both herbalism and mining today. I've decided to wombo combo these two professions simply because, well, fundamentally they're very similar. And not only are they very similar, most people tend to pair them together, or at least it's considered smart to do it. If you're going to spend time flying around picking up herbs, you might as well pick up the ore at the same time and vice versa. So let's take a first little look at each of these together. I spent a few hours on the beta today, leveling some of these up. You'll see I still haven't got them to skill 100. This is not really too problematic. I just need to spend some more time doing it. The process is very similar to what you'll expect if you've played Dragonflight in any way, shape or form. Talking about materials very quickly, we are predominantly going to be picking up usual sort of stuff. We have Mycobloom is your basic herb. We have Bismuth, which is your basic ore. And there are some uncommon variations of herbs and some uncommon variations of ore as well. This is going to be the majority of what you're running around, you're gathering, you're picking up. And from time to time, you'll find a few little specialties. There are some speciality nodes. You may notice on my list here, we've got iridated, we've got crystallized, we've got webbed. There's a few different variations of speciality nodes. And when you tap these, there's one behind me here, an iridated blessing blossom. When you tap these, you are likely to get an elemental type material. These are not quite the same as awakened or rousings from Dragonflight, at least at this moment in time. As of recording this, these materials are still used quite sparingly. I think there's 4 different variations. I'm yet to find the other 2. There's 4 different variations of these, and as of recording, they're not used too heavily in other professions. There was a weird thing in Dragonflight where the awakened and the rousings tended to dominate, making them the rare and the bottleneck material. And it was kind of weird that herbalists and miners didn't really care about the herbs too much after a while. All they were doing is running around desperately trying to find the elementals. Obviously, demand via the professions will determine who wants what and when and how much it will all cost. But just be aware, there are some special things you can pick up. Overloading is a thing again. You can overload herbs, you can overload ore nodes. This means when you do find one of these special nodes, you can choose to overload on it and it will do something more than just give you some slightly more materials. Iridated one, for example, if we overload on this, it should, in theory, it doesn't look as if it's done it. Typical. Oh no, it has, sorry. It's got the arcane duplication. I was expecting the button to pop up somewhere else. This gives you the ability to duplicate this same herb. So if we go somewhere near to it and press the duplicate button, it should, in theory, make a second one of these. Boom. Hey presto, it's going to pop up here. So each of the overloads have something similar. They have their own little bonus to them. We can now pick up the regular blessing blossom. We can now pick up the iridated one, and this should also give us ley line residue as well, as you can see. So the concept of herbalism and mining is pretty similar. There are these special nodes. Knowledge point wise, you are going to be restricted to how many knowledge points you can get per week. Again, much like Dragonflight, polished slate for mining, and the Deep Grove Rose for herbalism. I've found all of the samples of these I can this week. That said, there does seem to both be this Deep Grove Root and this Null Silver, which, at least on beta at the moment, you can still continue to find many of these. I don't know if this is going to act as a catch-up system once the game goes live, or whether it's kind of like a Dragon Shard equivalent, but just for gathering, meaning that the more you do it, the more knowledge points you will gain. Time will tell on that one. At least at the moment, these Deep Grove roots aren't very rare. Probably every 5 to 10 herbs I pick up, I get one of these Deep Grove roots, which means at least on the beta, I could technically level pretty fast. I don't suspect it will go live in this fashion, but, you know, we will see. It's something to be aware of anyway. If you are going to throw some time at herbalism and mining, you should be able to see steady results going forward. Spec tree wise, there's not too much to say. There's usually there's 3 trees for both of them, and they've simplified the trees quite a lot this time round. One tree is just purely focused on the quality of the herbs or the quality of the items that you pick up. You then have a more utility tree. One of the big utilities I should probably talk about here is the fact that you can learn how to gather Kazalgar herbs whilst mounted, and the same is in mining. If you go into mining fundamentals, you can now mine whilst mounted in Kazalgar. It's worth noting at this point that your Dragonflight ability to do this means nothing when we move into the new expansion. You are going to have to spec into being able to do this whilst mounted once again. Druids, on the other hand, currently on beta, can do both of these by default. So Druids have got quite an advantage. There is talks amongst the goblins to decide whether this is a bug, whether this is intended or not. But if it stays the way that it is, Druids are going to get both of these bonuses for free, and it's going to make Druids even more god tier as far as gathering is concerned. Overloading has its own specific tree as well, giving you the ability to just be better at overloading and to sometimes remove some of the negative effects that come with overloading as well. But the spec trees, very simple, very straightforward. 500 points needed to fill all of them. You are technically able to continuously farm knowledge points. You might be able to just throw a few afternoons at doing this and get quite far through. Of course, the drop rate on these is going to be the telltale here. I suspect that this is just a beta thing. I want to re-emphasize that these null silvers and these deep grove roots feel very much like a beta system that probably won't be given to you quite as frequently when the game goes live. But we will see. We will see. There are some one-time treasures you can fly around and pick up as well. So if you really are trying to optimize your knowledge in the first few weeks, you can probably spend some time in each of the zones and pick up some other stuff. But boys and girls, that's really it for Herbalism and mining. There's not too much to say because fundamentally it's the same old, same old. You fly around and you pick stuff up. And the more stuff you pick up, the more stuff you'll have to sell. The more stuff you have to sell, the more gold you will make. It's kind of a good little investment of time. The more time you invest into it, the more gold you will make. Finally, I just want to point out that quality is a big thing. As I just fly around and do some demonstration of the profession itself. Quality, they've tuned the quality quite aggressively, it feels. Throughout all of my leveling, these are all of the materials I've picked up. As you can see, I have very rarely picked up quality 2. I've not picked up a single quality 3, and I don't suspect I will get quality 3 for quite some time. This is leading more into the mindset and the design goals of Blizzard with the professions to make quality 3 materials both rarer from a gathering perspective and also more necessary from a crafting perspective. So expect there to be some big business on the quality 3 markets towards the beginning of the expansion at the very least. Dragonflight did actually have the ability to skill up, or should I say refine your materials, and that has made a comeback as well. You can take your quality 1s and turn them into quality 2s, and take your quality 2s and turn them into quality 3s. There is a 1-to-5 ratio on this, so yeah, I still think the 1-to-5 ratio is probably going to make this refinement sort of dead on arrival, honestly. I can see quality 3 materials being expensive. What I can't see them is being 5 times as expensive, but you know, who knows what will happen when the game goes live. We only have to guess on prices whilst we're testing things, so we'll see. But boys and girls, I'll leave it there. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.